Hello and welcome back to Just Between Us, the podcast for the girls who dare to dream big and live fully. I'm your host, Siobhan.
I'm your host, Bre, and today we want to talk about how you can achieve your goals by the end of 2026. We are officially, by the time you hear this episode, I reckon it'll be 6 months away. We want to help you actually achieve your goals. I know I have had so many goals in past years where I'm like, yes, I'm going to achieve this year. And the end of the year comes around and you're like, oh shit, I haven't achieved anything yet. But over time, I can say that I have been a great goal setter. I want to first tell a story. My dad used to make me write down my goals when I was a kid. I was like 12 years old. I'm like, Dad, I don't have any fucking goals. I just want to be a kid. But I used to get so mad at him, and I was very much in the mindset of like, just I hate it. And then eventually when I came to my senses, I understood the importance of setting your goals and how it actually helps you achieve the biggest things that you've ever wanted to achieve, and also puts it into perspective of how to make dreams actually reality. So there's so many stats that you can look at around this, but a couple that I can think of off the top of my head is you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you just write them down. Just writing them down. And I think there's a bit of a stigma around writing down your goals. People get a little bit nervous, they get a little bit scared, and it's because when you put it pen to paper, now it becomes real and you're like, I actually have to work towards this. And it doesn't feel very nice if you don't actually achieve it by the end of the year. But you are more likely to actually achieve it if you do write it down, because you are setting that expectation, that standard to be like, this is what I want to go after. The other thing as well is most people that write down their goals, I think they earn 9 times more than people that don't, which is wild. If you think of that in the scheme of like a year, that this study is over a lifetime, by the way, but let's just say for math's sake, if you earn $100,000 in a year, $1,000, good fucking luck. Oh my God.
You need a new job.
Yeah. Yeah, if you earn $100,000 in a year, you earn 9 times more, then that's $900,000. That is a massive, massive difference in just 1 year though. Imagine that over the span of your whole entire lifetime, how that compounds and accumulates. So what I really am just trying to get across is write down your fucking goals, because it will help you so goddamn much achieve them. And we want to talk about how you can actually create a game plan to make sure you do achieve them. And it's not like, cool, I'll write it down. It's pretty vague because vagueness kills success. But writing down your goals is the first step to actually making sure you achieve them.
Yeah. And the other thing with writing down your goals as well is it gives you something to come back to, because if you just like have your goals in your head, you're probably going to think about them like maybe once so often, or you're going to be like, yeah, cool, that's my goal, and then just never think about it again. Whereas if we can actually write them down, plan out how you're going to achieve your goals, it gives you something to keep reminding yourself of, to keep coming back to every single month, go back and look and kind of check them off as you go. So yeah. Definitely write down your goals. Also kind of on the same wavelength as writing them down. I am an absolute sucker for every 3 months or 6 months making new vision boards for each of my new goals, but also each phases of my life. Because I also think that, and we were speaking about this off camera just before we started filming, but you can genuinely change your entire life within the space of a year. And you can also do it within the space of 6 months. And I feel like it's such a cool, like visual thing to do, is sit down and really actually just like envision what you want your life to look like by the end of the year. I love doing exercises like that. So I'll go and I'll sit down and I'll write out all my goals, and then I'll essentially go on Pinterest and create a vision board that then matches those exact goals that I've written out. I think one thing that people do wrong with vision boards is they make them very generic. Like, your vision board's not just meant to be like a pretty thing that looks aesthetic. It's actually meant to help you envision the specific goals that you have. If you're just putting pictures of nice matches or coffee dates and like stuff like that just because it looks pretty, that's not actually helping you achieve any of the goals that you've specifically got. So when you do a vision board, make sure that you are finding photos that directly correlate to what it is that you want to achieve and how you want to feel, how you want to show up as a person within the next 6 months. So I love doing that. I love writing them down. I do it every 3 months, and I have kind of like a little like goal reset, vision board reset. What else did I want to say?
I think that's also fun to do with your friends. Like, yeah, like a little cute girls' date, girls' night idea where you sit down and you actually print out all the photos that you want and you just sipping on wines, you got some music playing, you're talking about your goals, because then your friends are there to support you and keep you accountable. And I know so many people like, oh, what do you do other than like go out to eat or go, drinking or whatever? And I think doing something like that as an activity where you actually get to bond over that, you keep each other accountable. I think sometimes we're scared to share our goals because again, it's like, oh, well, what if they take my goal? Or what if they think that's me dreaming too big, or I don't want to brag, or what if I'm dreaming too small? But I think it's so cool to actually share the perspective with the people around you, not only the part of holding yourself accountable, but also to have friends that actually help you dream bigger. My favorite thing to think and remind myself is if you can achieve all the goals that you wrote down this year, you are not dreaming big enough. You are writing down your goals based on your comfort zone. They should scare the fuck out of you. They should be something that you're scared to write down, because it's the whole saying of shoot for the stars, land on the moon. I think it's the shark or goldfish theory or something like that, where if you put a shark in a tank, it will only grow so far in that tank. If you put a shark in like a aquarium, it'll only grow so far. But if you put it in the fucking ocean, it grows to its maximum capacity. So if you were surrounding yourself with people that dream bigger, you're more likely to dream bigger and be like, you know what? I can actually untap my potential because they think it's true. Maybe I can think it's true as well. So I think sharing that with your friends is so wholesome. It's so fun. It's so enjoyable, but it's also you're more likely to actually achieve your goals when you have people in your life who are actually helping keep you accountable and help you dream bigger than what you thought possible. And I also think if you can achieve all your goals on your own, you're also not dreaming big enough. Because I know for me, where I am today, it would not be without the 9 mentors that I have invested into. And from day dot, I've always had someone in my life. And there's been times in whether it be business in my life where 100% I've wanted to quit so many times, more times than I could possibly think of. And when you have someone supporting you, whether that be a partner, a mentor, a coach, whatever that looks like, someone going, hey, this is just a season. I've been here. I understand it. They already know the rite of passage of going through those situations. They're like, it's all good. I'm holding space for you for this. You are capable. You'll come through this. Everything will be okay. You're actually going to push through that rather than quit on yourself. So I also think it's important to have, as we speak about a lot on this podcast, the people in your world, your environment is very much make or break for whether you do keep pushing and you do keep challenging yourself to achieve your big goals or not.
Yeah, that's so true. I think it's massively underrated as well. I don't know whether it comes from almost like an ego or an entitlement aspect, but I think so many people are still almost afraid or don't want to ask for help. But exactly as you said, goals are meant to be things that require something different of you than you're currently doing, because otherwise they wouldn't be a goal. They'd already be your reality. And most often, to be someone different than you currently are, to act different, or to have something different in your life, it means that you've not done that thing yet. So why would you not want to have the help from someone who's already been in that situation to help guide you through it? So yeah, the people that you have in your environment, but also just investing in people who can help support you and guide you and keep you accountable is such a massive way to almost like guarantee success in goals. If you can have other people that are there to help support and, as you said, not let you give up on your goals, you are way more likely to achieve them. Kind of on the same topic as big goals, I'm going to take it slightly the other way. We want to be having massive, big Delulu goals. Yes. However, when we're talking specifically about from now for the next 6 months up until the end of this specific year, one thing that you also do need to do is make sure that you are actually setting goals that are realistic for you to be able to hit by the end of the year. When we're talking about big goals in terms of this is what I want to do in my entire life or in my entire career over the next couple of years, dream as fucking massive as you possibly can. Like, be Delulu as possible. But we do need to be a little bit more realistic and very specific about your goals when we're talking about what do you actually want to achieve between now and the end of 2026, right? So for example, if you're someone on a health and fitness journey right now and you've got like 20 kilos to lose. It's probably not going to be realistic that you're going to have a really super defined six pack by the end of 2026. That's not saying that you're never going to get there, but we need to be realistic in that sense, because otherwise you actually are just going to get to the end of the year and not be able to achieve your goals. And all that does is just then make you disappointed and think that you're not capable of achieving your goals. Whereas if we can actually make sure that, yes, set those big, massive goals, but then almost work backwards, create a plan of, okay, cool. In order to get to that goal in a year, 2 years, what can I actually do in the next 6 months to make that happen, and kind of shrink those goals? I'm going to give it back to you, actually, because I know you were talking about a good strategy on how to actually break down your goals specifically.
Okay, I'll never turn down a yap. Yeah, absolutely. As you're saying, yes, dream fucking big, dream bigger than you ever thought humanly possible, but also disassociate it or disconnecting the timeline of what that actually looks like, because social media has warped our perception of what the reality is of what you can achieve in a period of time. Absolutely, there are people out there that have achieved these incredible, massive, huge goals at such a young age, but you see it more because it's on social media and portrayed more. But at the same time, it's not everyone's story, and it's actually okay. Like, I think Elon Musk became a billionaire at 42 years old. That's still so freaking young, but people think they can be a millionaire or a, multi-millionaire by the time they're 25. Like, that is crazy. You're still a baby. You still got so much to learn as well. So when it comes to goals, yes, absolutely fucking huge, but also be malleable. Allow those time frames to move as you also change and learn and understand things a little bit more. So let's just say you have this big goal you want to achieve in 1 year. All you need to do is break it down into bite-sized pieces. So what does that actually look like? What do you need to do on a month-by-month basis in order to be doing the things that allows you to get there? And then from there, break that down into a week-to-week basis of what you need to do every single week, and then a daily thing. So if we use the whole 20 kilo fat loss as an example, in 12 months, if you want to lose 20 kilos, that's absolutely possible. How much do you then need to lose every single, week, every single month? Then it kind of makes it a little bit more realistic and less overwhelming. When you have this big goal with no direction, it's too overwhelming. I have no clarity on it. I can't think about it. I'll just push it aside. And that's why so many of our goals just get lost, because we don't actually create an action plan for us to get there. And I know planning it might sound overwhelming and you might overthink it, but the minute you start writing it down, the minute you start, going over all the things you need to do, it becomes a little bit more tangible, and then you can actually comprehend it to then start taking the actions. So for that person to be in a deficit, what do they need to do, and what is someone that is 20 kilos lighter than them actually doing to sustain that weight loss? Okay, we need to look at our steps. We need to prioritize our sleep. We are able to eat out, but how frequently can we eat out compared to what we have been doing? And if we do like pizza, if we do like tacos, how can we do like homemade ones? So it's changing your behaviors and your habits to align with the person that's already achieved that goal. So breaking everything down, this can be a financial thing as well. If you want to save $10,000 in a year, what does that actually look like? Break it down into what are your pay cycles? How much do you need to be saving? So then what is your budget for on a week by week basis, but also having buffers as well, because the reality is life likes to throw you, a flat tire or a broken down engine, or you broke your front teeth or something like that. Also have those buffers as well. I think it's important to be getting so tangible with it, because I truly believe that vagueness will kill all success in any areas of your life. Even when you're having conversations with relationships and partners, vagueness will kill, because if you don't actually understand the nature of what someone is saying, you will always be a little bit confused, and there's so much room to make assumptions, and assumptions are usually wrong because everyone's brain is so different. So when it comes to those goals, break it down. Start with these big goals that you want to achieve, and then you have to create an action plan. And if your goal needs to shift time frame, it needs to shift length, it needs to, maybe you could speed it up a little bit and achieve it faster than you thought, or give yourself a little bit more time to play around with, to not feel so overwhelmed and stressed and put so much pressure on yourself. Break it down so simple so that all you have to do is follow the game plan that you've written for yourself, and it is impossible not to achieve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My next point is just very straight to the point. If you want to achieve any goal in your life, regardless of whether it's within this next 6 months or just whenever, you have to stop giving up on your goals within 2 weeks of putting some effort in and not seeing the result or not completing the goal. So many people just never achieve their goals because as soon as it starts to feel difficult or they actually realize that maybe their goal is going to take a little bit longer than they thought, they just completely abandon it. The thing I've also found, because that literally used to be me, I used to go through phases in my life where I'd set a goal and then I'd just be consistent for a couple of weeks and then be like, why is nothing happening yet? And just abandon it. But I always found that if it was actually a goal that was important to me, it just kept coming up anyway. And then I would just have to retry again because it was still something that was playing on my mind. And I wholeheartedly believe that if there's something that you feel deeply that you want in your life or that keeps coming up for you in your life, it is meant for you. I wholeheartedly believe that if you can envision something and you're like, oh, yeah, I want that for my life, that you are so capable of achieving it. But you are not capable of achieving it if you just keep giving up, because then you are just going in constant circles. So again, just like pretty much every other episode where we mention this, consistency is freaking key when we're talking about goals. You are not going to be able to achieve anything in the space of a week or 2 weeks. It's going to take time and it's going to require you to show up every single day in the non-negotiables, in the tasks you've split down into those weekly tasks or those daily tasks. You're going to have to show up in those things over and over and over again until you reach the goal. So just get out of your own way is basically what I'm saying. A lot of us just stand in our own way when it comes to our goals and then almost have this entitlement of being like, I've been doing this for like a month and I still haven't reached it. So it's not meant for me. I'll just give up and try something else. Like, give your goals some time and actually go all in on your goals.
Let me slap you guys silly for a second. If you have a goal that you want to achieve and you give it 2 weeks and then you quit on it, eventually, like Shev said, it's going to come back up again and you're going to have to rebuild that momentum. But how about you just not quit and maybe you just go slower? Maybe you just take a little bit of a step back, but you're not actually quitting entirely. Over time, that is still consistency. If you show up 20%, you're 20% ahead of the girl that is 0% or quit on herself. If you show up 5%, that is still 5% more of zero. It doesn't matter what your week looks like. You are still on track to achieving it if you are actively showing up. And I know it's so easy to be like, well, I'm not perfect. You are literally self-sabotaging yourself. If you were trying to be perfect, get that out of your fucking head. I was in there for far too long. Stop trying to be perfect because it's never, ever, ever going to happen. How are you supposed to be perfect in an imperfect world when challenges and obstacles will always find you, regardless of how much of a plan you make, regardless of how much you overthink everything, how many plans and to-do lists you have to prevent these things from happening, they will still come find you and they will still happen. So the best thing you can do for yourself is if you have a goal, just say to yourself, no matter what, I will show up with as much as I can every single week. I don't expect myself to be perfect. I will push myself. I will challenge myself when I don't want to do things, but I will still continue to show up regardless. And I know at some point in time, I will get there 100% if I just don't quit. It is the last man standing. That is all it is. If you can think of it that way, the last man standing, you keep pushing on, you'll eventually achieve your goal. So just don't fucking quit and just keep showing up. Get out of your own head. Stop self-sabotaging with the perfectionism mindset. It is absolute bullshit from someone who was there, stuck 7 years herself. Yes.
Yes. Spitting fire. All complete facts. Yeah, I'm just going to jump back to where we were at the start of this conversation. And also when it comes to writing down your goals, vision boarding, then also mapping out the points or your exact strategy or plan, those then need to be revisited often. You can't write them down, make a vision board, map out a plan, and then just never look at it again. You need to constantly have that in front of your face, whether it be part of your morning routine that you go in and you rewrite down what your goals are. You look at your vision board, whether it's every single week on a Sunday when you do your like reset, right? I love a Sunday reset. Do your meal prep, clean your environment, and also sit down and reassess and relook over your goals. Whether it be every single month, you set yourself a time to sit down, maybe adjust your goals if they need it, relook over them. You need to keep them in the forefront of your brain for your brain to also realize, oh, I'm still working towards this, and to kind of keep pushing you forward. The other reason that you need to do that is because there are going to be multiple days and multiple weeks where you just don't feel like showing up. And if you can give your brain a constant reminder of why you're doing these things, why it's important for you to show up on the days that you don't feel like it, it's going to feel so much easier to reach that goal. And it's going to feel so much easier to stay consistent. So revisit them. Don't just write them down and then like put them in a drawer and never look at them again. That's not going to do anything for your goals, and you're probably not going to achieve them if you do that.
I genuinely think on that point, I love that. If you are someone who hasn't achieved a goal that you've wanted to for years, even a couple of years, and you've had it written down, it's a New Year's resolution every year, you should be writing down your goals every day. Every day. Every single person has enough time to spend 5 minutes with your journal. The first thing you do in the day is set your intentions, write down what you want to achieve, because like Shev said, when you constantly put that in the forefront of your mind, you are going to take action on a daily basis that aligns with those goals. And if you are forgetting about them, if you only look at them towards the end of the year, you've got 2 months left to achieve all these big grand goals that usually take a year to achieve, then no, you're not going to achieve them. So stick it somewhere, make it a habit where every morning you wake up, you sit at your desk, you go outside, you watch the sunrise, whatever that is, and write down your goals. It doesn't need to take long. And I'm not saying write down every single tiny little action plan step. No, it's about writing down the specific person that you want to become, whether that just be something simple like, you know, I want to save $10,000 for this year. I want to lose 20 kilos for this year. I want to travel to this place and this place this year. So write down your goals every goddamn day so they do stay in the forefront of your mind and you can actually continually act in a way that aligns with that person you want to become.
That's a very good point before we wrap up. One thing, again, that we mention all of the time, you need to act like the person who has already achieved the goals that you want to achieve. If you can wake up tomorrow and already have the morning routine, the fitness routine, the nutrition routine, whatever it might be, of the person that's already achieved the goals that you've written down, you are going to get there so much faster because you're already embodying that person. It is very, very difficult, probably actually impossible, to go, I want to achieve this goal and then change nothing about your habits and behaviors currently. I always do this when I set a new goal as well. I'll write down a goal, create my vision board around it, and then I'll also write like, who is that person? Who do I actually need to become in order to achieve that goal? Write down, what time does she wake up in the morning? How does she speak to herself? What type of clothes does she wear? Get super specific about how you can embody the person that's already achieved those goals. It's just another layer of already kind of making that goal feel real.
And to add to that, when you are going through a moment where you want to quit or you want to give up or things are getting hard, ask yourself, that person, what would she do in this moment? How would she show up when she is faced with something that she doesn't really want to be faced with or is unexpected or whatever that is? How would she show up? Because if the version of you today continues to act like who you are today, you can only expect what you have today. So you have to choose different in order to have different. I think we should put it in like, I guess like points, dot points. Yeah. So the first one being write down your goals. That is the very first one. And then to back that up, I guess like 1A and then 1B is make sure that you break it down to make it so ridiculously obvious what you need to do that if you just follow that plan, there's no way you won't achieve that goal. And then number 3, was it? I was hoping you'd help me out there and you just stared at me blankly and I was like, all right, I'm on my own on this one. Just show up every single day, no matter how big or small, just keep putting one foot in front of the other towards that version of you. And then 4th, it's have it somewhere, write down your goals on a daily basis and continue acting as the person that already has those goals, because when you act like them, soon enough, you'll eventually become them. The other thing is like when you are writing those goals, work backwards. So from that big goal and then break it down continually into bite-sized pieces. And also accept that you can change your whole entire life in 6 months. You don't even need that long. If you are so laser focused on that one goal that you want, you can actually totally achieve it because everything that you do revolves around that specific goal. You'll be there before you know it. You can be so freaking focused. I've seen people do insane things in a shorter period of time. And if you just lock in and go, this is my ultimate goal, this is my only goal for the next 6 months, I highly suggest, like, because we are halfway through the year, I highly suggest picking one big goal that you want to achieve, not like multiple different ones. Really just hone in on that one goal that potentially will affect many other aspects of your life and set you up for success in other goals that you want to achieve in the coming months, the coming years as well.
Yeah. When we think about goals, I think we often separate them a lot, like into different categories, which is great. It's very good to obviously be specific about different areas of your life that you want to achieve different things. But I also think that often the version of us that we need to become to achieve a lot of the overarching big goals that we have requires us to be a very similar person in all aspects. We'll kind of go business related, right? The successful people that you see in business, I can guarantee that they also have their health and fitness as a top priority. I can guarantee that they eat well, that they fuel their body, that they get their steps done, that they have a very structured fitness routine, because those things enable themselves and their body to work optimally to then perform in their business. So set one big goal, but you can also just expect that it's probably going to affect most other areas of your life. And the one area that will always affect every other area of your life is if you prioritize your health and well-being and you make sure that you're moving your body, you're fueling your body, you're getting enough sleep. Again, we harp on about it all the time, but those foundational habits, they literally change every aspect of your life anyway. So yes, you might want to set one financial goal, you might want to set one business goal, but you're probably going to be working on other things to achieve that goal anyway. I don't think I said that very well, but you get what I mean.
I get what you mean. I totally get what you mean. I always use analogies or like, stories. So here's another one. If you want to look at any successful person, there is this YouTube video. This guy goes and meets up with, I think, 5 billionaires or 6 billionaires in the world and does their morning routine with them. And every single one of them starts with movement, starts with nourishment, and starts with waking up early and actually setting the tone and starting the day early. Was that rain?
What?
Baby screaming.
He was literally sunbathing underneath my desk, and then something obviously frightened him and he woke up and barked.
So honestly, like, if billionaires are doing it, the gateway to all success comes through working on your health, because that is you working on your internal. It is like the direct correlation. And as we know, this whole podcast is built on that. It is the foundation. So we will not stop harping on about it, because it is the one thing that we want to help you with, because it's going to set you up for success in every aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm. It will be mentioned in every single episode that we ever do.
Cheers to that. I don't know why I did that. It just felt right. We got to wrap this up, I feel.
Yeah, we got to go.
What do we share for our weekly? We still haven't come up with a name.
I always have nothing.
I know. To be completely fair, all I've done this week is solve fucking issues that are unsolvable. So I cannot say that I am actually wanting to share a nice thing this week. The reality of life sometimes is dealing with shit, and I'm going to be real raw with you guys, and that's what she's been doing.
I honestly feel like I've had the most productive week that I've had in a long time. You just have some weeks, like I'm a productive person all the time. Like, I've got systems in place, I've got a fucking blocked out calendar all the time. But I feel like this week I've been even extra locked in and focused. Every single free moment that I had in my calendar, I then filled with something else productive. I love that. Like, head down, fully locked in on everything this week. It's great. Feel great.
That's so good.
And also, I've had really shit sleeps for the past week, so I'm not sure how that's even been possible, but maybe I'll crash next week.
No, don't manifest that shit. You're going to have a great catch-up
next week I'll come in and be like,
weekend.
I've had the worst week ever, I've done nothing.
No. Anyways, we're going to wrap it up. We're talking absolute smack right now. But guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. We are so proud of you for getting this far and listening to this podcast, because it shows that you want more for your life and you're willing to go out there, learn, and go get it. And if you love this episode, you find it valuable, please like, subscribe, rate us, give us a review, write a comment. It means the world to us, and it only takes you less than 30 seconds. So thank you guys for being here, and we will see you guys in the next. Bye.